If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you'll lose, you lost. Success begins with a person's will. It's a state of mind.
Better. It's out there. But you've got to chase it down. Time to cut the rope. Get stuck in. Turn him into him. Learning things my teachers couldn't teach. Reaching heights I never thought I'd reach. I'm part of a crew now, never alone. From nowhere to everywhere. I left a small town and turned it around. I was born in Blythe, but I was made in the Royal Navy.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. From the four corners of the world, to the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now!
Touch goals.
How do you like it?
Close the show. So aggressive, so focused.
Look at these two guys! Still the undisputed champion of the world!
Well, from wherever you're watching around the world, a very warm welcome to Sheffield. We've got a big £140 British and Commonwealth unification clash between Dalton Smith and Sam Maxwell in our main event live on the DAZN this Saturday night. This afternoon we're at the press conference. We'll be hearing from all of the undercard fighters and our main eventers as well. But before we do that, you may have seen the news breaking on social media this morning about Matchroom Boxing's latest signing. If not, let's hear all about it now. Here's Eddie Hearn.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you, Darren. And welcome everybody here in Sheffield. A couple of weeks on the road, New Orleans, Madison Square Garden, Sheffield this week, Monterrey, Mexico next week, Detroit, Michigan the week after. It's non-stop action. As Chris said, a top domestic fight this weekend in the Steel City. Dalton Smith and Sam Maxwell for the British and Commonwealth £140 Championship. Before we go into that card, I want to talk about a big new signing to the Matchroom team, 11-0 Shabazz Massoud. A man that I've been watching, a man that I've been hearing Ben Davison talking relentlessly about, the teammates as well, Lee Wood, two-time world champion in the house, Pat Mack, of course, telling me that this young man is the goods, telling me that this young man can go on, become a world champion, a multi-weight world champion. Shabazz, no pressure at all before we talk to you. Ben, welcome. I tend to take you a lot more seriously now than I used to many years ago when you told me, rightfully so back then, how special each individual fighter was going to be. But this man you've talked to me about such a long time, almost to the point of, you know, not begging, but in the office saying, Ed, you have to get this guy. He is one of the best fighters I've ever worked with.
Yeah, we've discussed him quite a few times. You know, I've got a lot of confidence in Shabazz. Great student, loves the sport. And, you know, I wouldn't speak about him like that if I didn't truly believe it. And I believe that he's got the work ethic, the love for it, and I believe now he's got the path that he needs to go and fulfill that.
You talk about, you know, when you talk about a fighter becoming a multi-weight world champion, some people talk about, you know, as the ability to win the British and fight for a world championship. But that's really how you think this young man is, not one division, but multi-divisions as well. And obviously now being ranked with the WBA, moving into those championship fights, you feel he's ready.
Yeah, I do, and I think that I say that, yes, one, because of ability, but also because of his frame as well. I believe that he's got the frame to be able to move up in weight eventually. It's just experience with him. I believe that his skill set is already there. I just believe that it's the experience and certain things that he needs to tick off along the way to fulfil that.
And a great time as well for the camp, everyone, bringing everybody on. Of course, Lee Wood, great performance recently, big fight, hopefully pending in September, October. Part of the older generation, I guess, in the gym. Sorry, Lee. But, you know, when you look at the younger boys coming through now with Shabazz and Pat, you know, so many other talents as well, absolutely flying right now in the gym.
Yeah, definitely. There's a great environment. There's a almost like it's not even a team. It's more like a family. A lot of the boys live with each other. It creates a special bond, and I believe that there'll be a big performance Saturday from Pat as well. So building more momentum.
Well, Shabazz, welcome. No pressure at all. multi-weight world champion. It's all incoming. Saw your fight against Jack Bateson. Could see you've got bundles of talent. Now you've got the platform, the opportunity, the path. This is it now for you. Time to go out and get what you've always dreamed of.
No, 100%. Alhamdulillah. I feel like this has been like a long time coming. I've been through a lot of struggles and stuff. I started on small old shows. I dreamed of things like this, but we're here now, and I want world titles within 2 years.
Obviously 11-0 now. A good domestic fight last time out. You're already calling for that date. That will come. Maybe August, but definitely September at the very latest. Trying to squeeze 2 in this year as well. You feel like 2024, obviously this year is going to be important for you as well, but 2024 could even be the year we see you challenge for world titles.
100%. In 2024, I want to be fighting for a world title. I've signed with you for a reason. I want world titles, and I've got the best trainers in the world, and I've got the best promoter in the world as well, so it's time to rock.
And finally as well, we talk about demographics within the country. Stoke. And
Stoke.
you know, our first fighter from Stoke of note at championship level as well. We know that it does come out for its own. We've seen that recently as well, and we know you sell big tickets as well. 100%. You're going to be boxing all around the UK. You're going to be boxing in America as well. But that's the plan, to bring world championship fights back to Stoke as well.
100%. I want to bring it back to Stoke and just do everyone proud there as well.
And finally, as I said, DAZN subscribers, fight fans around the world, no more secrets with Shabazz Massoud. Statements coming this year, and you're ready to become a real star of British boxing.
100%. Like, boxing people know what I'm about, but now the casuals are going to see me as well, and once they tune in once, they're going to keep tuning in and tuning in and tuning in. Don't worry about that.
Well, Shabazz, thank you. Always exciting to get one of the top young fighters in British boxing. I've heard all the stories, I've seen the footage. This young man is going to go all the way to the top, and you can watch him fight all around the world on Matchroom, live on DAZN. Shabazz, good luck. And we'll start the main press conference in a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Well, there we go. Maxwell's latest signing, Shabazz Massoud, one of Ben Davison's fighters. Very good, £122. Had a really good win last time out against Jack Bateson. Late stoppage for him. We'll have a number of very good prospects on the card on Saturday as well. All starts just after 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Myself, Darren, and I think Sky Nicholson are going to be on the broadcast with us. We've got Corey O'Regan and Jordan Ellison in action first up. Nico Levars against Alberto Motos. That's a really good fight, you know, Alberto Motos. I was watching this kid 4-0. Grant Smith, obviously, he's a handful.
It's not bad.
Yeah, and of course, I think we called Levars' debut a little while ago. He's 3-0. And won. That one was because of an early head clash, and spoke to him about it a couple of days ago, and he said, I felt like the guy really took a way out because he was getting a bit of a beating. By the way, if Darren and I look a bit confused at any point, our monitor isn't actually quite working, so we don't really know what you guys can see, which is why we looked a bit bizarre at the start. I mean, you
always look bizarre,
so
but I'm confused.
Beatrice Ferreira, I'm really looking forward to seeing her in action.
That's another good fight.
Isn't it? A really, really good fight. Ferreira, of course, Olympic silver medalist, double world gold medalist, 2-0 as a pro, has dropped her first 2, stopped her first opponent. So looking forward to seeing her in action again against Carla Zamora. So those 3 fights will be on before the bell between 5:10 and about 7 o'clock, where we'll go live on DAZN local time for Lewis Sylvester and Adam Cope. Good domestic clash for the English lightweight title, and then Janae Bostan in action against Ryan Amos. Bostan, I mean, look, one of the most exciting prospects I think we've seen in the last couple of years, fair to say?
Without a shadow of a doubt, and improving all the time, that willingness to learn and take on new information, and that is scary for all the other super welterweights out there. I mean, he really is. He's going to be a real handful.
Yeah, of course, grew up around the Ingles gym, and he's got that kind of switch hit style, lots of screw shots, lots of flair, but power with both hands. He's had a number of good late stoppages as well. See him there. He's obviously a super welterweight and has weighed in within a pound of that limit in his last 3 or 4 fights, and has got a stoppage in every one of his first 5, and looked really, really good in doing so. Another good young prospect we just spoke about, Shabazz Massoud. Hopey Price was a very good £122, and now moving to 126. Has been out with Dave Coldwell's fighters stateside sparring. Spoke to Danny Wilson. Said that Danny Wilson from Boxing Science sent me a graph of all of the fighters, the top 10 box rec fighters between sort of 122 and I think 168 up to Lorraine Richards' weight, and the sort of average height and reach of these guys. And he showed me what a massive outlier Price was, what huge size was, and he said he's going to be better at 126, physically more strong, full and fresh. So he'll be third fight. And then, of course, Pat McCormack, the Olympic medalist, against Tony Dixon, who's had a couple of really, really good wins in his last 2, will be our chief support before Dalton Smith and Sam Maxwell collide for the £140 unified British and Commonwealth title. Smith, of course, can win the bout outright in victory on Saturday. fighters for our undercard are ready at the desk. So without further ado, let's head back and hear from Eddie Hearn.
Thank you, Chris, and welcome back as we talk about a tremendous fight card on Saturday, live on DAZN around the world from Sheffield Arena. A huge domestic matchup in the 140-pound division. Of course, the British champion, Sheffield's Dalton Smith, against the Commonwealth champion, Liverpool's Sam Maxwell. It's a tremendous fight. Former Team GB teammates, but now with an opportunity to establish themselves on the world stage. This is a great fight card, and one of the reasons is because you have so much young talent that's stepping up. We've seen some great names in British boxing over the years, and good to see, by the way, so many familiar faces is here as well. Former Matchroom fighter, Hall of Fame. Actually, do you know what? I think we should have a little round of applause, because I don't think we've done this before. Hall of Fame inductee, the great Carl the Cobra Froch, ladies and gentlemen. Well, congratulations, Carl. And while we're there, I think we should have two more as well. Up there, I see him, two-time world featherweight champion, Lee Wood, in the house up there as well. And two-time, two-weight world champion as well, Terry Harper, here as well. Terry, well done. Right, on to Saturday night. And as I said, so much fantastic young talent here stepping up. We're going to start with two young prospects. One particularly has incredible support. We see him in Leeds last time out. Corey O'Regan, of course, Nico Leviars as well. A young man that I think is going to be headlining in Nottingham. You know, maybe even after Lee Wood cleans up multi-weight world championships as well. Corey, we'll start with you. Welcome. Sheffield for you this time. Leeds previously out. Fantastic support and great to be fighting in the Steel City on Saturday.
Yeah, obviously the Leeds thing I've done twice, so yeah, this is my third time on a Matchroom card, so I believe each one's been a little bit better of a performance, so yeah, hopefully the third one, plan on doing the same thing.
Obviously, we know how many tickets you sell up in Leeds, and the same here on Saturday, but important to box around the country as much as you can to get that experience.
Yeah, like, obviously in Leeds, I'm known around that way, so it's good. It's good from a profile and building, obviously. Any opportunity to get on one show like this is one you got to take, and it's the one you want to look good on, because I know what you guys can offer. I know what you guys can do for boxers and the opportunities and everything. So each one's not just about me progressing in my career, but it's about me getting on the right shows at the right time, and hopefully getting them opportunity through like yourself and the big shows. All right.
Thank you, Corey. Looking forward to seeing action on Saturday. Nico, welcome. Been a frustrating time. Every time I see you on a fight card, it's fallen through. I have to say, well done for staying on it. Well done for staying focused as well. You got the opportunity. Everybody tells us, Grant Lee, everybody says the ability that you have, the talent you can go on. Finally, back in the ring on Saturday, and looking forward to closing out 2023 with a lot of activity.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating few months, but it's been months where I've still been in the gym, still training hard, money in the bank, if you want to say, for a good performance come Saturday night, and you'll see a lot of improvement.
Obviously, we talked about the gym of Ben Davison as well, but Grant Smith gym as well, and around you, fantastic momentum at the moment, everybody flying, and looking forward to carrying on that momentum in the ring.
Yeah, you know, the old gym's flying, and I think it's definitely bringing the best out of each other in the gym, in sparring, when we're all training together and picking things up. And I think even with this weekend, we've got 3 on the card, and we've all been looking good in the gym, so it'll be 3 wins again.
Looking forward to finally seeing you back in the ring on Saturday. Now, we know women's boxing is flying at the moment. For some of you that may know, won't know, this young lady in front of me, Beatrice Ferreira, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in female boxing. Multi-time world amateur champion, Olympic medalist as well, done everything as an amateur, and now fighting around the world, wants to challenge for world championships ASAP. A great fight against Karia Zamora, who we saw stop Jessica Kamara, who may arguably have beaten Callie Reese for the unified world title previously. This is a fantastic fight. Beatrice Ferreira, one of my favourite fighters to watch. You're going to love seeing her in action on Saturday. Karia, welcome firstly to you. A huge win for you last time out against Jessica Kamara, and a great fight for you ahead on Saturday.
Carla, primeiramente com você, uma grande vitória contra Jessica Kamara e outro grande pelea sábado ahorita também. Yes, now I'm focused on this next fight.
Obviously, you have a lot of professional experience. Beatrice is an accomplished amateur, but looking to use that experience on Saturday against Beatrice.
Usted tiene mucha experiencia profesional. Beatriz es una luchadora con mucha experiencia amadora. Entonces, ¿va a aprovechar de esa experiencia profesional el sábado ahorita?
Sí, sé que tengo mayor experiencia a nivel profesional y también sé que ella tiene una gran experiencia a nivel olímpico. Yo siento que va a ser una pelea muy buena. Algo que tiene es que me gusta que pelea limpio y pues yo también me gusta pelear limpio, entonces va a ser una gran pelea.
Yes, I'm aware. I've got a lot of professional experience. Beatrice comes in with a lot of Olympic experience, so everything's in place to be a really good fight on Saturday. And I hope we have a clean fight, and I hope it's a really good fight.
Thank you, Cara. Beatrice, the Beast, welcome. Fresh off a World Championship gold medal, back in the professionals on Saturday. You look in tremendous shape, ready to fight.
Beatriz, the Beast, assim, ganhou o título mundial nos amadores, agora sua próxima luta profissional. Está em condição excelente e pronta para essa luta de sábado.
Sim, estou muito feliz de estar aqui, a minha terceira luta. Me preparei muito bem, vim de vitória, consegui mais um título mundial, então eu estou com a adrenalina a 1000. Tive uma boa preparação lá no Brasil, então estou bem confiante. Essa terceira luta vai dar o que falar.
Yes. Coming from the World Championship, I'm really happy to be here for my third professional fight. I've prepared really well. Coming from the world title victory, my adrenaline is just like 1,000%. Preparation's been really good. I'm very confident and really looking forward to the fight.
How's that been, working amateurs and pros as well? You've been very successful, but also a question is, this is only your third fight, a massive step up for you already. You feel like this is the right test at the right time, and after this, you want those World Championships as well.
Como é esse modelo híbrido de amador, profissional? Essa é só sua terceira luta profissional. Então, como que vai ser esse grande passo para frente em termos dos profissionais? Que você está procurando ganhar títulos também aqui para frente?
Sim, eu sou a fera, né? Eu busco títulos. É bem diferente, o olímpico é uma preparação totalmente diferente do profissional, mas eu estou concentrado, eu estou com muita vontade de vencer e muita vontade de colecionar cintos. Então, eu vou buscar isso para a minha carreira e eu estou pronta. Cada vez me sinto melhor ainda.
Yes, I am highly determined. What I want is titles, I want belts. Olympic boxing is very different, the preparation's very different, but I am very prepared for this. I really desire, what I want is to collect belts. I'm ready for it.
Well, thank you, Beatrice. Good to see you back. Do not miss that fight on Saturday. Main event on Before the Bell as we move on to the main card. I love these kind of fights, domestic opportunities for fighters on the main card for a chance to go and make a name for himself. A young man I've heard so much about from Steffi Bull is Luis Silvestre. Adam Cope in the opposite corner with a huge opportunity. Two unbeaten fighters on Saturday. Adam, welcome firstly to you. Massive chance, main card, big fight against Luis Silvestre. Ready to rock on Saturday.
Yeah, I can't wait. Been fit now for a while and then this opportunity come up, so I'm ready to step in and take it. I think a lot of people in the boxing know about me, but now it's time to show everybody else as well what I can do.
You come here with a reputation, plenty of ability. First big step up for you. Maybe same with Lewis as well, but you're ready for that. He sold a lot of tickets as well. Going to be a great atmosphere on there on Saturday night, but confident going into this test.
Yeah, definitely. I think I can do everything really. I can box, punch, I can come forward and mix it up and work them out when I'm in there. And yeah, there's loads of sport coming on. I'm not going to let them down.
Lewis, welcome. Again, huge amount of tickets sold on Saturday, and as always, we get trainers and managers that bang on about fighters, and Steffi's done that for you. He's delivered the opportunity for you. Main card on Saturday night, 10 rounds as well. Time to put in a real performance at the weekend.
Yeah, obviously this is another step up for me. My last fight was another undefeated fighter for the final eliminator. Steffi's done everything in his power to kind of get me to this position, and yeah, I'm here now. I'm finally ready to show the world what I can do. So yeah.
Does the pressure come as well, not just winning, but trying to win well and winning in an entertaining fashion as well? Obviously, you're going to be introduced to a whole new audience on Saturday around the world. Like I said, main card, we're looking for a great fight, and we should get it between two hungry, undefeated fighters.
Yeah, of course, obviously, a win's always good, but putting on a great performance is even better. yeah, getting a win, obviously, this could change my life. It could change my career completely. Yeah, Hull's a massive boxing city, and I'm ready to put it back on the map, and you'll see that come Saturday.
Well, we hope we can go back to Hull. It's a fantastic fight city as we move to the top table. One fight that I am buzzing about is because whenever you have a great young prospect, sooner or later you get the opportunity to just light the torch paper and see what they're all about. I'm so happy that Junaid Boston and Grant and the team have decided to do it on Saturday night. The man in front of him, Ryan Amos. Ryan, welcome. How you doing? Good. I'm excited for this fight. You know, this is a young man, very young man with a load of potential. He talks a great game. I've seen what he said about you as well. Your experience, you've done it the hard way. Big show on Saturday, live on TV around the world. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. Like, obviously from the small hall shows, I had a few opportunities. Everyone pulled up. So yeah, I'm just happy that somebody's accepted the fight, and yeah, just ready to go.
Junaid, plenty of talent, great movement as well. I guess the question marks are, because we haven't seen him in that kind of pressure, is to keep him under pressure, to wear him out over the 10 rounds. You got to come to fight on Saturday.
Yeah, like I do always. Basically, I got offered the Millions title fight when I didn't have much experience. Won that fight, and then yeah, just keep getting better and better, and each outing we go out.
I look forward to you giving this man a big test on Saturday. Junaid, talking big on social media, in front of the media, putting a lot of pressure on yourself. I guess you wouldn't want it any other way.
I mean, if you get asked questions, you're going to speak, aren't you? So I've seen bits and bats up from their side saying, oh, he's talking a good game, but when you're getting asked questions, you're going to answer them and you're going to speak confidently. But first of all, Eid Mubarak to all my brothers and sisters. Inshallah, you have all a good day. And secondly, he obviously mentions how people are pulling out. He'll never have that issue with me. I got offered the fight, watched a bit of a clip. Yeah, no problem.
One thing I think that's been so impressive about you so far is fighting against opposition that doesn't always come to win, but finding a way to look exciting, break them down and stop them. This is where it starts to get exciting. All of a sudden, opposition that's coming to win, coming to change their life. Do you think that's where we're going to see the best Junaid Boston?
Definitely so. Saturday, you'll see.
And finally, trips abroad, Los Angeles, Mexico, the hard spars, plenty of eating chilies out there with us in Mexico as well, which has gone viral and very entertaining. But those important...
Still ain't recovered from that.
Those important those important moments, those important spars, all part of the learning process. And you've been calling for this for a while now. Main card, you know, deep in the night, big crowd on Saturday as well. This is where we're going to see Junaid Boston shine.
Oh man, I feel like a big fish right now. Yo, it was only last year when I was on the Sheffield show and I was on the stool and I was like, Eddie, sort this out, mate. I'm not signed. I know, but you don't have to rub it in. And now all of a sudden I'm on the top table, so life comes at you fast. It's just for me to stay composed, stay switched on, and just deliver.
Well, it's all there in front of you. Good luck to Ryan Amos against Junaid Boston. Great fight on Saturday. Go to another good fight and a big step up as well for one of our other leading worldwide prospects, Hopey Price. James Beach Jr. in the opposite corner. James, welcome. Again, you've been in big fights before. We've seen them. Another big test against a very good, undefeated fighter. Ready to go on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm ready to go now. I've been here. I've done it, and yeah, like I say, I'm just ready to go.
You've faced those tests before against young undefeated fighters. You feel like you've learned a lot from those experiences as well. I know you've been thrown in the deep end in your career, but these are the kind of moments where you build off that experience.
Yeah, I've definitely learned from it in the past. I've got myself hyped up, maybe too hyped up in the past, whereas this week I'm just staying relaxed and I'm just teaching it as if it's a normal fight, really.
Opie, big chance for you on Saturday, moving up in weight as well, which I think is definitely the right decision. A proper opponent this time, a game opponent. We saw some frustration against your previous opponents that didn't really come to win, but you're not going to get that from this man. He'll be coming to win on Saturday, and time for you to make a statement.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, like you say, the last opponent, it was a little bit awkward, but then again, he boxed for a world title, you know, and I fought him in my 10th fight, but still, you can't please everyone. Some people said it was a bit boring, but it's given me the bit between my teeth a little bit for this fight, and like you say, he's a bit more gamer. He stands there straight in front of me, so I can stand straight in front of him, you know. I can tee off and I can just punch his head in, you know, gypsy style.
Is that what we need to see from you on Saturday? I mean, last time out you had a massive step up. It was a great win, but people start to get very critical now of fighters after you've had that development, which you've had now. So the pressure is on, and fairly so. You want to look good on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the pressure's on now in these sort of fights. It's not just about winning these fights and cruising through these fights and winning them in first and second gear. You know, I really want to show the best of my ability. You know, 100% this fight I'm coming for the knockout, so I'm definitely going to take him out.
Oh, great fight as well, Hopey Price against James Beach Jr. And a massive step up as well for, I think, what we all know, one of the best prospects, not just in British boxing, but in world boxing, in Pat McCormack. Watched this man for years and years as part of Team GB, obviously silver medal in the Olympics as well. Another fighter that Ben Davison has, who talks about the ability for him becoming a multi-weight world champion as well. But talking a great game in the opposite corner, Tony Dixon, a guy that's travelled away, had some big wins on international soil as well. Tony, welcome. I guess similar to James as well, you've been thrown in massive fights abroad. You've taken victory over there as well. Nothing new to you on Saturday night, jumping in a big show against another great prospect.
Yeah, I love it. That's what I do. I'm a fighter. I mean, that's what I come to do, give everyone entertainment, and that's what I'm here to do, a job.
I saw your comment on social media talking about that you're ready for war against Pat McCormack. Is that what it has to be? I mean, we know this man has plenty of talent and ability, and as I said to Ryan about Junaid, you've got to test these young fighters and you've got to see if they've got the mettle to come through.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's going to be a brilliant fight.
You've watched him before, obviously, you know his ability, limited experience and limited rounds as well in the pros.
Yeah, but he ain't fought me yet, have he?
Pat? Tony Dixon, I've seen it. You know, as I said to Junaid, a few things said. It's what we want, isn't it? I mean, you know,
that's what I need.
You've boxed those international opponents. Great last time out, but I guess it starts to become a little bit boring, even though it's so early in your career and you're entitled to those kind of fights. We know what the critics are like. We know what the fans are like. They're saying, if you're telling me Pat McCormack's one of the best fighters in the world, he needs to step up. And this is your first big step up on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. First title fight. I won plenty of medals in the amateurs. Olympic silver, world silver, European Games gold, Commonwealth gold, but now it's time to win some belts as a pro.
You think that's what you need, these tests, people coming up, talking a little bit differently, you know, being aggressive, putting it on you as well. You know, with all due respect to Tony, there's levels beyond him that you want to get to quickly as well. Do you need to be sliding through this level of opposition on Saturday? I know it's going to be a tough fight, but you expect yourself to win well.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, he's coming to win. He's a tough game lad, but fitness doesn't win your fights. I think I'm in levels above him, and it's going to show on Saturday night. Whatever he's got to offer, I've got to answer to. And I've got a great team around us: Ben Davison, Lee Wiley, Barry Smith. All the lads in the gym were flying at the minute, so there's no stopping us at the minute.
I feel like this next 6 to 9 months is a really important moment for your career. Good wins, big statements, and momentum as well. It's going to take you into a massive 2024.
Yeah, definitely. Get this belt won on Saturday and push on from there. But we're looking at bigger, better things. And this is the start of the titles.
Great fight on Saturday. To everybody watching out there, watch this young man go on Saturday. I think he's going to be a superstar of British boxing for years to come in a very tough fight against Tony Dixon. We come on to the main event. It's a tremendous fight. Dalton Smith, who's one of definitely the most hyped fighters, and rightfully so, slided through all the domestic opposition until he gets to Sam Maxwell, the big acid test to win the Lonsdale belt outright on Saturday. British champion against Commonwealth champion, Sheffield against Liverpool, Team GB teammates as well, and just two outstanding fighters. Sam, I'm going to start with you. Dalton says he didn't think you seemed too confident, but walking over with you today, and obviously with everything you've been through in your career and that one defeat as well, kind of get the impression that mentally you're in a good place for this test on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've enjoyed fight week so far. It's been a busy one, but I'm really enjoying it, yeah. And I'm enjoying my whole boxing the last year that I've been with Eddie, enjoying it more than I've ever enjoyed in my whole career, and it's going to bring the best out of me.
One thing that a lot of people are saying when they're analysing this fight is the fact that you are a big puncher. I get the feeling you two are going to engage in this fight. There is going to be times when you're going to be trading up as well. Do you like your power in this fight as well? You know Dalton, you know, he's looked good in his last couple of fights, but probably needs that big test now. Might be a good time to fight him, a lot of pressure on him as well. And again, a word on your power going into this fight.
Definitely, I feel like I hit hard enough to hit anyone in the division, and it makes no. That's what's going to happen on Saturday. Very likely. I know I can hit Dalton, but the vibe I'm getting from his camp as well. He's looking to come walk through me and smash me up. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting fight.
When you look at that division, although this is for the British title, I really see this as one of those sort of fringe world level fights as well. The winner of this fight will go on, and you look at our roster across 140 pounds, obviously at the high end with Regis Prograis, but also in the high end, Jack Catterall, Liam Paro, Steve Sparks, Richardson Hitchens, Montana Love, Reshat Mati, so many big fights out there for you. It's going to change your career if you win this fight on Saturday.
Definitely, I think you've got all the top 140s. It's a great division to be part of with you. So beat Dalton on Saturday, and put my name in forward with their massive fights, big fights out there.
And finally, nothing like a big domestic fight as well. Just that extra bit of spite, not that you need it, but you will do everything everything you can to be triumphant on Saturday night. You believe you win this fight for the British and Commonwealth titles.
100%. I feel like I'm being underestimated by everyone. And it's just about me going there, showing on Saturday now how good I am, and show myself how good I am, and I believe I can win. Yeah, I believe I'm going to win.
Thank you, Sam. Dalton, welcome. It's getting exciting now. You know, I said to the other boys as well, this is on another level of excitement because the hype behind you, I guess the last couple of fights that you had to take as well, didn't maybe get yourself as up for it. I know you would have trained hard, but you know how good Sam Maxwell is. You know your headline at Sheffield Arena. You know what's in front of you. Obviously, British Championship for keeps as well, but just an extra bit of excitement going into this fight week.
That's it, Eddie, and you know, especially like my previous fights. Obviously, I always train hard. I'm a true professional, but believe me, I'm not underestimating Sam one bit. You know, I wanted this fight for a long time, and you know that's why he's brought the best out of me. And you know, it's physically the best shape I've been in, the best camp I've had, and obviously, this fight means a lot to me. I want that British title for keeps, and you know, I don't feel like there's no pressure on me. I never put pressure on myself because, you know, I'm boxing for myself. That's it. And it's just that's what boxing is. When boxing's all said and done, it's what I've achieved for myself. And like I say, this is a big fight for me. I want that British title for keeps, and it's going to be a special performance on Saturday.
Difficult in a way when you're selling this fight as a British title, and the reality is, the level is much higher than that. You know how good this young man is. You shared limited rounds with him on Team GB, but you saw him fight. You know his reputation. This feels a little bit more tasty than just British title level on Saturday. You know this is a real test.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've ever sparred, have we, Sam?
One time, yeah, on a Thursday night in the camp. Yeah, I remember. You was only a kid.
Must have hit me hard then. But obviously that must have been a long time ago. But obviously Sam's he's a good fighter. He wouldn't achieve what he's achieved if he couldn't, if he didn't have the abilities. But again, it's levels, and I believe that's what's going to show on Saturday night. And you said everyone just talks about Sam's power. Like Sam O'Mason, he was a big puncher. Like what you can't hit, what if you can't land, that your power's a bit useless. You know what I mean? But obviously, I'm not underestimating Sam. This is a big opportunity for him. And he's this, where does Sam go after this? So he needs to win this fight, So I presume he's trained as hard as he has for any fight, and it's a big opportunity for him. But this fight's brought the best out of me.
I know there's respect between the two, but you did say in the head-to-head earlier this week that you didn't believe he looked that confident. Do you believe he thinks he can win this fight?
Of course, any fighter getting in a ring, if they're not confident, they shouldn't be there. But obviously, I've got the personality. I don't come across as this mean killer. I'm just chill bike. But what I do take in is when I'm, coming faced off, I'm very good at feeling energy, and I feel like Sam, when we come to face off, and the vibe around the whole build up of the fight, it's been very tense, and that's what maybe obviously it doesn't mean anything. What matters is what happens on Saturday night. But that's just what I feel, and but it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a good fight.
Finally, we know, I've seen this moment so many times over the years where a fighter from a city gets their breakout night. There'll be a solid crowd in there on Saturday. There's bigger crowds to come and filling this place up eventually and moving on to Hillsborough. What a season for Sheffield Wednesday as well. But a massive moment for your career and boxing in Sheffield on Saturday night.
Of course, all Wednesday, aren't we? But great season, to the end of the football, and I want to continue with that now and get the big double. So, you know, make a bit of history in my hometown and capture that British title for keeps. But honestly, Eddie, this is the best camp I've had. Like, it's the best I've been sparring. And I'm just excited to get in there on Saturday. Believe me, there's no pressure because I'm just excited to get in there.
Well, we cannot wait. Tremendous fight. Dalton Smith against Sam Maxwell, headlining a big night of action in Sheffield on Saturday. Around the world, live on DAZN before the bell with Corey O'Regan, Nico Livias. Tremendous fight between Beatrice Ferreira and Karia Zamora as well. Don't miss the main card as well. We're kicking off hot with Lewis Sylvester against Adam Cope, Janae Boston against Ryan Amos, Hopi Price against James Beak Jr., Tony Dixon looking to test the great Pat McCormack on Saturday in his first title fight. And as we said, British and Commonwealth action, great domestic fight. Sheffield against Liverpool. Statement time for Dalton Smith against Sam Maxwell, live on DAZN around the world. Don't miss it. Join us for the weigh-in tomorrow, and we're going to face off all the opponents up here now. Thanks for joining us.
Josh Taylor, he's fought, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, I was looking through his box rate and reminding myself all the people that he's been through. And he's not had an easy route to where he's got to, Maxwell. He's 34 now, the time goes quick. But when I look back to that and think how low he was then and how far away the success that he's had now probably seemed then, he's done really, really well for himself.
Without a shadow of a doubt, because of the great pedigree that Dalton Smith have, we forget that Sam has a very good amateur career of his own, and you forget how important that is sometimes. But two very talented lads here, for sure. Nico, like we've already said, an interesting fight, a step up for sure.
Yeah, it is. I spoke to Corey O'Regan earlier on this week. I think he's going to have more than half an eye on Lewis Sylvester and Adam Cope in the first fight of the night, because I think he was in the mix to fight for the English lightweight title a few months ago. It just didn't quite come off for him, but I think he feels if he goes 10-0 in good style against Jordan Ellison, who is, let's get it right, a circuit fighter, but a solid circuit fighter, who he himself had a good fight with Adam Cope not too long ago. If he comes through that in good style, I think he will be justified in his claims to fight the winner of Sylvester and Cope live on DAZN. Beatrice Ferreira, though, I mean,
this is fireworks.
I think this is going to be a really, really good fight. Her first 8 round. Of course, she fought over 3-minute rounds in her debut. That was in, I think it was Ohio. So, but I think this is over 8-2s is normal. Her first 8-rounder. So that'll be a third fight on before the bell. And then this is the first fight on DAZN. English lightweight title on the line over 10 rounds. Lewis Sylvester, really, really nice fighter to watch.
Really good fighter. Very, very quick hands, quick feet. He glides in and out of range.
Yeah, he gets in and out quick,
doesn't he? Does really quickly. I mean, he's kind of got the art of boxing down to a T, hit and not be hit. But Adam Cope, he's probably the physically stronger out of the two. Nice high guard, works the body really well after combination. So a really good fight there.
He beats a guy called Harry Fryer. Sylvester boxed rings around him really for his what was eliminator for this fight. Cope, he's not a dissimilar style to that, kind of a little bit busier, but he can't afford to wait as long as Fryer did, because if you give him time and distance, I think he will play with you. And speaking of which, that is very much the problem that Ryan Amos could have against this young man, because he's looked pretty faultless in his first 5 fights, 5 stoppages. Some of them come in between, sort of, I think 2 have come in 6, 1 has come in 7, 1's come in 5. And we're talking about the weight. I mean, he's tall for this weight, 154, and he's a young man too. I think in 4 or 5 years' time we'll probably see him at middleweight. But he's come in within a pound of the championship weight every single time, and he's performed really well. No engine problems. Chin's been checked a couple of times. He's taken the shots well. Shot selection's good. Power carries late-ish, 6-7. I mean, very, very promising so far.
Without a shadow of doubt, an exceptional talent, as is this man.
Yeah, he is. I think it'd be interesting to see what the difference is at 126 pounds. As I mentioned half hour or so ago, speaking to Danny Wilson from Boxing Science, who does his S&C, says that his performances in the ring have correlated when he's had a better S&C block of training and get the feeling that they'll get a little bit more out of his body at 126 pounds, because those last 3 or 4 pounds is where things can go a little bit wrong as a fighter. And he's a young man, but he looks in good shape and will be looking a bit fuller and fresher on Saturday night in a 10-rounder against James Beach Jr. And that's Tony Dixon. Do you remember when we were out in Italy? We saw him chin Francesco Russo. I glanced down at my notes for about half a second, and he looked up and he looked like he'd been tasered in the first round as well. And he'd been out for about 2 years, hadn't he? Of course, he had that very close and quite contested loss to Maxim Prodan, where he showed he can box and move, not just a pressure fighter, as we've seen in other fights. He's going to have to do a little bit of everything. He's going to have to be at his best to even get near Pat McCormack.
He's just got to try and nullify the beautiful, crisp, sharp work of McCormack. That becomes very difficult. I think the only way you can do that is by getting on the chest of Pat, but then you're obviously in the firing line. So it's a tough night, tough ask for Tony.
He's very, very good, Pat McCormack. I mean, talking of good prospects, there's some really, really good ones, but he is head and shoulders above the rest of them, looking to go 5-0. And this is our main event, £140 unified British and Commonwealth titles on the line. Dalton Smith can win the British outright in victory and become unified with the Commonwealth. Sam Maxwell from Liverpool has had a really good career. Remember that unbelievable, almost moment of the year against Sabri Sidiri, where he knocked him out, having been well down on the cards and had been hurt several times in the contest late in the fight. That is the danger with him. Everyone knows he can punch.
Everyone knows he can punch, but with that fight, you see there, he carries his power late, and that could be crucial. It will be crucial. If he's to win this fight, he's going to have to try and tag Dalton at some point, and it may come late if it is to come for Sam at all.
He was broken up and stopped couple of fights ago. Sorry, folks, by the way, our monitor keeps going down, so we have no idea what you're seeing. I'm hearing that it's currently us at the moment, but don't worry, they're on it. Yeah, he got hurt badly by the Mexican fighter a couple of fights ago and was dropped and stopped. And hello, mate.
How are you?
Oh, mate. We're really good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
I thought you had a cold coming on last Saturday.
I've had a cold for about 4 weeks, to be honest.
Really?
But I've COVID tested 5 times. Don't worry, I'm completely fine.
Congratulations, good stuff. We were just talking about Sam Maxwell's career and how he might be a bit of a forgotten man in this one. Very, very good amateur, beaten lots of the top names over the years. 34 now, though. Last chance for him, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I feel a bit sorry for him, really, because everyone was talking him up. You know, he was fighting with Queensby, fighting with BT. Everyone was saying this is one of the best young prospects in British boxing. Won the Commonwealth title and then jumped in against a bit of an unknown for the IBO World title. I don't know what happened, but got beat. And everyone went, all right.
He was Mexican, that's what happened.
Yeah. But everyone's now like, okay, he's not what, as we do in British boxing. Oh, he's not. Actually, he was all hype by Sam Maxwell. Comes back, nothing's changed. He's still a quality fighter. It's not like someone who just turned pro, without much of an amateur pedigree.
Well,
he's a very good fighter,
Yeah.
And I like what I've seen from him. He's very low-key, Sam Maxwell, very low-key team. I was walking here with them today. They just fancy it. They're kind of thinking, what an opportunity. People are looking at Dalton Smith over the last couple of performances and saying, I'm not sure if the hype is real. Let's be honest. And one thing I've noticed from the last couple of weeks, but for many, many years now, is if you're getting hyped up, you better deliver, right? Regis Prograis in New Orleans. I'm out there. He's the number 140 in the world. He's this, he's that. I know Zorilla didn't come to fight, but an average performance.
Do your business.
Belanga, much better performance, but still probably should have stepped on the pedal to get him out of there. Let's not start changing now. Let's be super harsh and super critical. Pat McCormack, Junaid Boston, Hopi Price, Dalton Smith. I think you can all be world champions, right? Show us, right? Let's be really critical on Saturday night. Let's be a Twitter warrior, right? And just say, no, you're part of this hype machine. Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, DAZN. We're being told you're the future of British boxing.
How do you gauge that, Ed? Is that by do you have to stop your opponent?
And you gauge it by people going, wow. You gauge it by people posting clips and watching reels of this unbelievable performance where people start to get hyped. It's not good enough for these guys to be struggling at this level. Take Dalton away because this is, I can't tell the world that you're going to go and win world championships. I can't say that Pat McCormack is a future world champion if he doesn't go out there, and I'm just going to say it, and absolutely take Tony Dixon apart. Hopey Price, not exciting enough last time. You better go out there and you better stick it on James Beach and you better stop him. Junaid Boston, stand this guy on his head, back him up and stop him. And he's been doing it, to be fair to him. Do you know what I mean?
He has.
So
Yeah, he
I
has.
want to see it. And we have such a huge stable worldwide. We haven't got time to keep putting all the energy and hype into these guys if you're not doing it in the ring. So I'm going to be critical on Saturday night. I'm not going to defend anyone. I'm going to put it in here now. Hopey, you have to stop James Beach. Junaid, you have to stop Ryan Amos. And that's a big step up for him as well. Pat, you must stop Tony Dixon on Saturday night. And Dalton, you must stop Sam Maxwell. I want straight stoppages throughout the entire TV card to be able to come and join you guys later in the night and say, I told you, this is the crop, that part of the crop that I think can go on. Because we need that crop. British boxing needs this crop to come through.
And you sort of alluded to it there on the presser. Does the winner of the main event go, what is that domestic level done?
This is better than domestic level, and this is better than European level, right? I mean, I think Sam Maxwell has all the ability to win a European title, right? After this, Dalton Smith must move into Montana Love, Stevie Spark, Liam Paro, Richardson Hitchens, a very good fighter. I mean, Jack Catterall's looking at Regis Prograde, but you start to say, if Dalton Smith goes out and does a job on Sam Maxwell, you know, Jack Catterall against... Yeah, I mean, but really, the next fight is a big, you know, world-level fight. I like Liam Paro against Dalton Smith. I think it's a good fight. Right. But let's see on Saturday, because the last couple of performances from Dalton, you know, and I understand they haven't always come to fight.
And well against Benjamin. And Allington, I think he just felt unbelievably slippery against him.
But what I'm saying as well, Chris, is if you are what we're hyping you to be, you have to, you know, if Dalton Smith is a world-class fighter and can go on and win world championships at 140, he beats Sam Maxwell in style on Saturday.
What about Dakota Linger for Dalton Smith at some point? That was a good fight last weekend, wasn't it?
You know, actually, Keith Connolly came on to me and said Reshat Mati would be open to fighting Dalton Smith. Good fight, particularly stateside as well.
That's a really nice fight, yeah.
But that's the kind. This is where we get into the level now with those guys, where it's getting exciting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel that Pat McCormack, he should be fighting for British titles in his next 1 or 2 fights.
Also, two of the camps, Dave Colwell and Grant Smith, have taken their boys stateside to do sparring. Speaking to a lot of people out there, spoke to Rich Moore, Ramla Ali's husband, who was in Manny Robles' gym with the boys coming in and out, about what an experience it was. Would you like to see more British teams going out there and doing that on a regular basis?
Unquestionably, because the sparring is on another level.
It is.
They don't, you know, you don't necessarily just arrange a spar and say, oh, have you got anyone to do 4 rounds or 3 rounds? You turn up and there's about 30 people and they just go, yeah, you look about right, in you go. And it's like full on. When Conor Benn went to Mexico for he was turning up in gyms, right, sparring cruiserweights and having all out like. But that's how you. I'm not saying you want to have wars and wars in the gym, but at the end of the day, hard sparring and top sparring is what's going to bring you on. Those little trips for Junaid and those little trips for Dalton can change a lot of things, and can, you know, all of a sudden they're out there sparring with Virgil Ortiz and that kind of level. And sometimes domestically you don't get that, find that level of sparring. And
you learned a lot of your best lessons sparring abroad, I feel.
Without a shadow of a doubt, you learn something about yourself. You already sort of know how good you are, but that's how you gauge what level you're at and if you really want it or not. When, you know, it gets tough in those places, you've got people screaming and shouting. I remember going to Denmark, it was a little bit different, but sparring with Kessler. I'm thinking, flipping heck.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard.
Awful.
It was hard, but if there was ever a time I was going to say, do you know what, I don't think this is for me, it would have been after that, but I went the other way, and it was a great experience.
Not internationally, but when you used to go up to the EIS and spar Froch, I remember you used to say, oh, got to go and spar Froch. You know, it's like, but that's those spars are where you're going to learn
Make
the
or
most.
break you.
And I've got to say, fighters like Junaid Boston, I really like Junaid Boston, because I like what he's done against the opposition, which is traded a little bit. Like, I'm always screaming, right, ringside, just walk him down, let your hands go. And the coach is probably looking at me saying, shut up, why would we take a chance here? But you've got to do it to look good.
He was brilliant last time against Kramer. I thought he was great, I really do. I think
you know, I just stood next to him there, and he's growing in stature, as in his presence, but also his size, right? He stood next to me there, and I thought, Jesus.
He's probably not long at 154,
no,
really.
I think he's going to be one, but he's you know, he's a young man. But what he is, he's exciting. He looks for the knockout, and he's got that something about him, you know. And now, again, same kind of thing. Very young, no excuses. If you're what I'm making you out to be, you cruise through area level. But I like this fight. I like this fight against Amos.
Yeah, it's a good fight. So lots of litmus tests for some of the best young prospects in the country. 8 fights on the bill on Saturday. All starts just after 5 o'clock on Before the Bell. 3 fights there before we go live on DAZN at 7 o'clock, all leading to the big one. British and Commonwealth unification at £140. Dalton Smith from Sheffield against Sam Maxwell. Thanks for your company this afternoon, folks. We'll see you 1 p.m. for tomorrow's weigh-in.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. From the 4 corners of the world, to the 4 corners of this ring, the fight starts now! Touch gloves. How do you like it?
Close the show. So aggressive, so focused.
Look at these 2 guys.
If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you'll lose, you lost. Success begins with a person's will. It's a state of mind.
Better. It's out there. But you've got to chase it down. Time to cut the rope. Get stuck in. Turn him into him. Learning things my teachers couldn't teach. Reaching heights I never thought I'd reach. I'm part of a crew now, never alone. From nowhere to everywhere. I left a small town and turned it around. I was born in Blythe, but I was made in the Royal Navy.